Welcome to the Extra Lap. It has been an absolutely nail-biting Nations Cup Championship today. And seeing as I'm presuming that you've tuned in for all the action, I really feel like we should rename this the Extra Hot Lap, because I feel like the conversation that's about to happen is going to be very, very interesting indeed. We've had some, like I say, some spectacular racing. I kind of just want to throw it down to the guys on the floor, because here's the thing. There was a few little incidents within that race that I feel like we really need to clear up and to clarify. So Tom and Jimmy are down there with our top three, which is Lopez, Hizal and Fraga, and is about to find out exactly what really went down. Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Julia. Yeah, welcome down to the stage area. We're here with winner of the Nations Cup, Igor Fraga. We've got Mikail Hizal, who finished in second position, and also Mikail Lopez in third place as well. Yeah, round of applause from all of the crowd here in New York. Well, let's get straight into it. First of all, Igor, we have to talk about the incident, of course, that happened out there on track. Let's get your opinion of it first of all. You know, you were given a 5-second penalty for lifting off, going up through Eau Rouge, with Mikail was trying to pass you as well. What's your take on what happened?
Well, I was just trying to break a little bit his rhythm, and it was not like a brake check or any like aggressive lift. Before going to the carousel, was already lifting a little bit and just to go a little bit slower. So to be honest, 5-second penalty was like a bit aggressive penalty, to be honest.
And Mick, what do you think of that? I mean, we could tell from your body language following that one. Just tell us your thoughts about what happened.
Okay, let's say I want to let you guys know something. I'm always trying to race as clean as possible, like not trying to win something by a dirty move or something like that. It all started like that Igor, after turn 1, went to the right-hand side and just tried to have this slipstream to overtake me again. Again, I was kind of like trying not to brake as late as possible because I wanted to give him the space. On the following lap, like, I will let you guys ask a question on here, the spectator, as well as on the live chat. I think you saw the little clip where we were kind of like analyzing the replay there. What am I supposed to do in that situation? Like, I wanted to try to overtake him, and then after seeing the replay, he lifted off on purpose. I went on the brake to avoid a dangerous moving. And in the end, because of me trying all the time trying to overtake him, I needed to save my fuel in the end. And yeah, I'm just speechless. It's like, if this championship is any more biased, I don't know, like, yeah. I don't know, I will let you guys ask the question. What am I supposed to do in that situation?
So, strong words there from you, Mick. So is that what happened following the incident? We saw you dropping away from Igor after he was able to find his way past. You were saving fuel in that situation?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, let's say after I tried to overtake him around the outside and as well as getting the slight contact again, me trying to race as clean as possible, but after that, yeah, I needed to save my fuel because with the 3 liters per second on the refueling time, I didn't want to lose as much time as possible during the pits because I still needed to catch up to Igor, who was kind of like on P1 with the medium tires. And as well as Cody also doing let's say, his last pit stop on 1 lap before, I also tried to, let's say, overcut him a little bit so that he doesn't undercut me in the end. And therefore, I'm not getting in the slipstream, but I don't know, I'm just speechless.
Well, okay, I'm going to put you in a really tough position now, seeing as you're sat in the middle of both of these guys. Have you had a chance to see what happened? Did you see the incident?
Yes, so like a few images, so I don't know at all what happened, but it's not only about the video. I think we should like see the data, and then we will watch what happened really. But I'm just so happy because it's my first podium. And
well, yeah,
I think
of course. Like, exactly.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah, exactly.
We saw you up on the podium, and I mean, maybe Mick and Igor being a little bit more subdued, and you're just there like. It was great.
I think after Germany 7th, I needed a good result, and yesterday Manufacturer Series wasn't very good. So now third place is a good result, and I will train for the next one.
So party for you tonight then, yeah?
Yeah. No, it was very impressive. Well done there, Koke. So Igor as well. What's the plan for you now going forwards after this one? You've now won 2 World Tour events in the Nations Cup. You won, of course, in Nürburgring. So that's 2 in a row for you. In terms of how you're feeling, your confidence must be sky high. So what's the plan of attack for the rest of 2019?
Well, the confidence is not that high because all the other drivers being like very close in all those events, not only on this one, but Nürburgring also, it comes down to the last lap battle. You know, for the next one, I'll be focusing more on the manufacturer series and also on my real life racing. And then for the world final, my real life racing will be over. The season will be over, so I'll be able to put a bit more focus into it because for this one I was able to practice only 1 day, so it was a quite tough one.
And Mikail as well. This is obviously the second time you finished second in the World Tour and the Nations Cup. What's your plan of attack going forwards into the remainder of 2019 for you now?
If it means to win the Nations Cup in a dirty way, then I guess I have to change my driving style then.
Well, there we are. I think that speaks volumes, doesn't it? So there's no other plan. That's I think we'll just leave that there. Yeah, it's probably the best choice. Yeah, and Koke as well. I mean, we've seen this steady progression from you over the course of this year. You know, 2 6th places, now finishing in 3rd. Confidence has got to be really, really high for you in that respect. So are you feeling now that you've sort of got that first podium, you can start challenging for victory?
Well, since the beginning, since I started with Gran Turismo and the World Tours, I always try to be consistent because I think it's the key for being fast. Because at the end, if you are not consistent, you can lose the motivation. And I think since European Championship last year, I improved my results. Last 7th, I was fighting till the last lap and the last corner with Igor and Cody. And now, as I said, I'm happy to be 3rd, but I think if the qualifying was better for me, I could fight for the victory. So I'm just going to try to fight for the victory for the next one.
Koke, Mick, Igor, thank you both very much. Congratulations based on your results here this afternoon. There we are. Lovely to hear from all of the crowd here in New York. In the meantime, though, let's head back up to Julia then, shall we? She is with some of our commentators, I believe.
That's right. We have got our Portuguese and German. I'm like really stressed after watching that. Are you feeling? I feel the stress from up here. It's very stressful. Sorry. Welcome, guys. Obviously, if you've been following any particular stream, you won't have met these gentlemen before. They obviously run our German and our Portuguese commentaries for the championships. I feel like we should kind of maybe draw a line under this and maybe talk about something else.
For me, I'm okay to talk.
Yeah, you want to keep going?
I'm relaxed with that.
Oh no, that was really awkward. It was like watching The Office or something. You know, when you get that like thing in your stomach. Oh god, it's just cringe. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about it?
I think that these guys are obviously the top guys racing here, so it's very competitive. Everything it's on the edge, and Igor just did his job. I mean, he's in a situation where he's defending the title. I don't see proper dirty racing. I think that he's intelligent. He's very mature, and he does his job. So I think I can see the 5-time penalty coming to show that they should play completely fair. But to be fair, I think it's too hard, even the 5-second penalty. So I think it's a normal situation, racing. It's pure racing.
I mean, you know, you've got to make split-second decisions in the moment, and I guess if the impetus is like where you're coming from is not aggressive and deliberately sort of Machiavellian, I mean, what's your kind of read on it, Florian?
Yeah, for me, you know, I'm been a racing driver. I've had a situation where you get the feeling, you know, I got treated unfair, and that's actually, especially when you jump out of the car or out of the simulator, you know, the emotions are high. So I think, you know, it was held down, and I agree. The stewards make the decision. We can all have our opinion. I think they said, you know, we don't like it to be kind of that, but if the penalty is too hard or not, it's not in our case to decide. So I think I think it wouldn't change anything on the result, as Hizal said. He had to save fuel in the end, so even if the pass would happen, probably Igor could get the position back in the end. So I think it's time to talk about different topics.
Yeah.
Yes, I think, you know, we need to sort of draw a line and kind of move on. So Cody Lakowski, let's talk a little bit about him. So he's been incredibly strong all weekend, actually, incredibly strong. What happened to him in that final race? Why wasn't he on the podium?
Since the time attack for the top 6 qualifying today. I was expecting him to fight for pole, to be fair. And then even on the semi-final A, I think for some reason he was not where we were expecting. And then now on the final, the final, he was obviously frustrated because he was not keeping up with the top guys, and he ended up doing that mistake. So it's not really where he wanted to go. He was here to win. I think he was focused, and his desire was to win. So not a good day for him.
But I suppose it's a lot of racing in quite, and he's obviously in the manufacturer series. It's a lot of racing, it's a lot of pressure, and then it all comes down to this climactic final race. And maybe it's too much by the end, like it's too hard to just keep that concentration.
We just saw it in the replay. It was a timey moment where he lost control of the car, and these cars are very tricky. The speed is very high, so as soon as they start sliding, you have to be very quick. And there's one moment where he didn't pay attention. And in the same situation, we saw like Miyazono, he was involved in the incident after with Lakowski. And in the end, he finished in 4th, not far away from Lopez, not far away from Hizal. So without the incident.
With 3 stops.
With 3 stops. I'm not sure the first stop was quite early, if it was because it was quite tight in the situation. If he didn't have room to go anywhere else than into the pit, so we have to ask him if it was really a strategy or like he was forced to go to the pit because the room on the track wasn't there for him.
I mean, and that's the thing, because we don't actually know if it was all part of a plan, if they'd gone in, this is what exactly I'm going to do. But then, a plan is only as good as what's laid out in front of you. You have to be able to kind of change it on the fly. And I think this is the thing that everyone always ends up taking away from. There are so many variables and things to think about. I mean, it's not just... Obviously, Lakowski having to correct when he's it's slipping in those moments. It's everything else you have to factor as well. I don't know how everyone kind of takes it all on board and keeps concentrating on driving at the same time.
I mean, these guys are, as I said, they are the top drivers on sim racing, so they know what they're doing and they are focused and they know exactly how that they should not do mistakes like this Latvovsky did. So in the end, it's a bit like real racing. And we were just discussing this before. When you are inside a racing car, you should not do mistakes. That's not what you expect to do. If you do, you know that you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
So I think that he's learning from this. He learned already from the Nürburgring thing, where he was one of the guys that should be fighting for the win. He will be good. I think he will be good. He's focused. He's very fast, so he will be good.
It's a lot of pressure for the guys. You see them, especially in the last final race. You see them constantly pressing or changing buttons on the wheel to work on the fuel consumption. You have a look what strategy your opponents or other drivers take.
I mean, one of the things I was talking about actually with Igor Fraga was the fact that I was saying, because obviously he does in real life racing and GT, and how they kind of switch between and what's similar. And he was saying that sometimes when he's doing real racing and it gets close to the crunch point, he feels quite happy that there aren't lots of cameras in his face, because he's like, I could just concentrate on driving and there's not everyone cameras here and people shouting at him, and he's like, actually it's much easier. And I've sort of taken that. It's quite a funny.
Type of pressure is completely different for sure. I never been in the situation of a sim race, let's say.
Commentators race. But then it's more of a battle. I wouldn't say that is a race, it's more of a battle. Everybody's crashing, so it's a different story. Now, but these guys have to be really focused, and they have to sleep well, they have to eat well, they have to be relaxed, because it's pure pressure when they are there.
That's very, very true. Well, I believe that we are ready to actually announce what is our Michelin driver of the day, which is actually Miyazono, and I believe that Jimmy is down there with him right now. Let's find out what's been going on.
Well, a cheerier subject now, after that rather intense discussion, of course, about the incident in the race. I am joined right now by our Michelin driver of the day, Takuma Miyazono. Thank you very much, Takuma, for coming down here. First of all, congratulations, driver of the day. How do you feel?
そうですね、嬉しいんですけど、正直ね、勝ちたかったですね。はい。
Well, I'm very, very happy to be nominated Driver of the Day, but to be honest, I'm still a little bit upset. I could have done a little bit more.
Okay, well, tell us about your race. You pitted very early. Did you mean to do that? It looked like you were hit.
そうですね、最初からハードタイヤを一周で変えようと思っていて、作戦は一番良かったかなとは思っているんですけど、
So yeah, so it was my intention to pit in on the first lap to get rid of that hard tyre. So yeah, that was my plan.
What happened with fuel? You made an extra stop.
燃料はどうしたんですか？燃料はどうしたんですか？
そうですね、燃料をセーブしてもあまりペースが良くないと思っていたので、なるべく飛ばすようにして、で中低速コーナーとかは少しセーブして、でそうですね、ある程度だから飛ばして走っていましたね。
So yeah, so I thought it would be best to try and get out of the pits as quickly as possible. I was trying to save my fuel on the corners, but at the same time, I wanted to get out and away as quickly as possible.
Well, lastly, what are your plans for the future? Do you plan to come back and try and get on the podium next time?
今度はどうですか？ポディウムのフィニッシュは取れますか？
もう次はもちろん勝ちたいですね。はい、勝ちます。
Yeah, I'd like to. In fact, yeah, that's my aim.
Well, I'm sure you will be. Thank you so much to Takumi Miyazaki for joining us, our Michelin Driver of the Day. Let's head back up to Julia.
Wow, this has been an absolutely spectacular. How are you? I was about to say, it's really been spectacular extra lap. For me, that was super awkward. Did it feel awkward down there? Because it felt awkward up there.
I've never been in such an awkward situation in my entire life. I'm just glad there was Koke there to break the two up.
I felt quite sorry for him. He was like, well, yeah. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
and everyone else is really angry.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I hope that Mick can kind of brush this off moving forward and just because he's got such talent, he needs to get out of his head. And I know bad stuff happens all the time anyway. Do you know what I mean? You've just got to be able to move forward. I am rabbiting on. Thank you so much for joining us on Extra Lap. Don't forget, we're going to be September 13th and 14th in Salzburg, Austria for the World Tour 4. We're going to see what's going to happen with Fraga and with Hizal there. We'll see you very much. And, thank you so much to Tom and Jimmy for being here and for you guys for watching us. We will see you in Salzburg very, very soon for more of the Gran Turismo Championships.